What's up, everybody? Time to review the Tarkir Dragonstorm rares and mythic rares. We're going to start by going through the gold cards. Let's just jump right in. You know the drill. A's, absolute bombs. B's, strong cards you're happy to play. C's, good cards you're not sad about playing, but not going to be like the strong part of your deck. And D's are cards that most of the time you're going to avoid playing. F's are cards that are completely unplayable. Usually they're cards that are like made for constructed or commander and just don't see any place in limited. Starting off with Frostcliff Siege, 1 blue-red enchantment. ETB, choose Jeskai or Temur. Technically it's as it enters, it's not a trigger. Jeskai, whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, draw a card. Temur, creatures you control get +1/+0 and have trample and haste. I think both of these look strong. Obviously, seeing this as a draw engine with any of your flyers, it can be really good, especially if you start off with. I mean, you'd have to have perfect Temur mana to do this, but if you start off with a 2/2 green-blue flyer and then this on the play, immediately you'll draw a card. This on your turn 3, and you'll draw a card right away with your 2/2 flyer. I think that looks great. You could definitely see this be a strong draw engine. Realistically, though, you need to be able to draw 3 cards to be happy with this. Otherwise, you just get a really slow. Oh, hi Theo. Sorry, my dog just walked by and flapped his loud ears. A really slow divination, but if you have a way to consistently connect with your creatures through evasion, that could be great. Then giving all your creatures +1/+0, trample, and haste, I don't know if that's worth an entire card. Like, that is really strong, but the fact that it doesn't even buff their toughness, like trample and haste is great, but if you're just trading off cards and you didn't get ahead, like you had to take a turn off to put this in the battlefield in the first place, I will have to see it to believe it. Overall, I'm seeing this card as like a C+, maybe B-. It's going to be certainly deck dependent, and I'm skeptical about the Temur side, but would love to be proven wrong. Windcrag Siege. We're going to go through both the Jeskai ones and then through the Jeskai cards, how we're organizing this. So this is 1 red-white enchantment. As it enters, choose Mardu Jeskai. Mardu, if a creature attacking causes a trigger ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. So obviously with Mobilize, if something has Mobilize 1, you would have effectively Mobilize 2 from that creature. And then Jeskai, at the beginning of your upkeep, create a 1/1 red goblin creature token. It gains lifelink and haste until end of turn. Okay, so these are both for. One's for Mobilize and then one's just for Go Wide. It's really nice that it gains lifelink and haste till end of turn. So this is going to. This is interesting. I would think that they would make this the monk token with prowess, but that must have just been too strong in practice, especially because I guess the goblins do stick, or the creatures do stick around. So I could see having this pump out a bunch of 1/1 prowess tokens could be problematic. So I don't know. I think this is pretty strong. Be able to create a creature every turn, triggering whatever ETB things you have, consistently giving you tokens is going to be really good. That's in any of your Go Wide or your token matter strategies. The creature that the Mardu creature that lets you sack a token and draw a card for a mana. I could see that being strong. And then obviously if you have a bunch of Mobilize, and I'm sure there are a few other mechanics where a creature attacks and it does something, then being able to double that is just, of course, really strong. That being said, the Mardu side you want to be playing creatures as much as possible, and this is not a creature or a removal spell, so potentially a little bit tough to do that. But I could see this hard to evaluate again. So starting off real strong on this evaluation here. I think as we get into other colors, it should be easier to evaluate, but these two are pretty complicated, if I'm being honest, to start off. So I see this card being good. I think it's going to be, again, probably a C+. It's going to be like a better than average card in most of your decks. It'll make the cut in most of your decks. It'll be interesting to see how these play out. Flamehold Grappler, Jeskai mana. So 3-drop. Human Monk, 3/3. First strike. When this creature enters, copy the next spell you cast this turn. When you cast it, you may choose new targets for the copy, and then permanents become tokens. So obviously this is for the Flurry deck. I mean, turn 5. Imagine playing this and a 2-mana removal spell. And just killing 2 things. And then you're left over with a 3/3 first striker. That's really good. Also, this is going to be, playing like on turn 6, playing 2/3 drops and just doubling, just putting 3 bodies on the battlefield. I think this could be a good card. This looks strong to me. This looks like a solid B, B plus. This looks great. Narset Jeskai Waymaster. Again, Jeskai mana, 3-drop, legendary creature, human monk, 3/4. Nice extra point of toughness there. At the beginning of your end step, you may discard your hand. If you do, draw cards equal to the number of spells you've cast this turn. Okay, so just something just completely keep you fueled up, ready to go. So 3 mana for a 3/4 is good. That extra point in toughness really makes the difference on this being a good solid body, and then being able to just have a ton of selection / card draw. I mean, once you get to the point where you're top decking, you cast a spell and you get a draw card at the end of your turn. Like that's just gonna GG. That's gonna win you the late game. So this card looks very good. I'm gonna say this is a B plus. You'd be very happy to play this. Rediscover the Way, Jeskai mana. Okay, so we have three of the Jeskai rares. All are just 3-drops. So we have a Saga, Enchantment Saga. Chapters 1 and 2 do the same thing. Look at the top 3 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand, and the rest in the bottom of your library in any order. So you anticipate twice. That's really good. You're digging 6 cards deep over the course of 2 turns, and getting your top 6 cards, including your draw step. You're going 7 cards deep. So a true dig through time here. A slow dig through time. And then chapter 3, whenever you cast a non-creature spell this turn, target creature you control gains double strike until end of turn. Okay, great. So being able to just give you a nice little benefit there to really make combat difficult for your opponent. Right? I mean, first strike is just insane, and then double strike, even if they can potentially block something small, you're still trading up with that. So this card looks really good. I'd be really happy to play this in a Jeskai deck for sure. So I again say this is a solid B, really good card. New Way Forward, 2 blue, red, white, instant. The next time a source of your choice would deal damage to you this turn, prevent that damage. Okay, so flashback to a card in Cons that did something similar. I can't really think of the name of it right now, but it's not constructed play, as people play in their sideboards in Burn sometimes in Modern and stuff. So you prevent that damage. When damage prevented this way, New Way Forward deals that much damage to its source's controller. Okay, just like that's what the old card did. And you draw that many cards. Okay, that is not what the old card did. So someone attacks you with a 3/3. You go to block it with your 3/3, and then you cast this. The damage of their 3/3 is prevented. Yours is not, so you'll still kill their creature. Then they'll take 3 to the face, and then you'll draw 3 cards. That's an absolute bomb. This looks insane. This is an A. And I mean, that's if you're trading in combat or they think you're trading. Yeah, that's really good. It also just prevents like a really big attack. If you going against the green deck and they're attacking you with one of those 5/5 elephants or something, even if you can't trade against it, which, yes, because damage doesn't get prevented to that, right? So your choice would deal damages and prevent that damage. Yeah, so it's just a one-way fog. So you can still, that's so good. Eating one of their creatures, drawing a bunch of cards and going to the face. Yeah, this is an A. I want to play this card. Shiko, Paragon of the Way. 2 red, blue, white. Legendary creature, Spirit Dragon, Mythic. 4/5. Flying Vigilance. ETB, exile target non-land card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard. Copy it. You may cast the copy without paying its mana cost. Okay, we've come a long way from Sarah Angel, huh? 5 mana for a 4/5 Vigilance Flyer, and then you just get a card of mana value 3 or less. That's bananas. You would hope so, that it's a Spirit Dragon, it's legendary, it's a mythic rare, 3 colors. Like you want these to be bombs, and this looks like an absolute bomb. A for sure. And the last Jeskai, Mythic in this case, 4 blue, red, white, instant. Return target spell or permanent to its owner's hand. Jeskai Revelation deals 4 damage to any target. Create 2 1/1 white monk creature tokens with prowess. Draw 2 cards. You gain 4 life if you thought I wasn't done. A+. I mean, come on. Return, it's not even, like, everything about this is just bananas. Even if it was just, like, you could neuter this card a little bit. You could say, you don't get the tokens. Or you can only bounce a permanent instead of also returning a spell. Like, you take those off, and this is still like a solid card. For 7 mana, let's say you bounce something, kill something, gain 4 life, draw 2 cards. Like, yeah, I'd play that. And it does so much more than that. The flexibility to return spells to hands, to bounce tokens, the big elephant tokens, then kill something else with 4 toughness, like a dragon or something. You can get 2 1/1s with prowess, which, I mean, you cast 2 spells, you're attacking for 6. You're attacking for 6, next turn. This looks phenomenal. A+. Really, I kind of dogged the Jeskai during the commons and uncommons reviews. I kind of dogged Jeskai because I'm skeptical about Flurry, but these rares are really strong. I think if you can play some Jeskai rares, maybe a Jeskai deck could actually be really good. All right, we'll move on to Mardu next, since we already read the Siege that included Mardu. Thunder of Unity, Mardu mana, red, white, black, enchantment saga. Chapter 1, you draw 2 cards and lose 2 life. Okay, Sign in Blood. Chapters 2 and 3 do the same thing. Whenever a creature you control enters this turn, Blood Artist, you drain for 1 and you drain for 1. That's interesting. So obviously the Blood Artist effect is really strong. Keep sticking that around for 2 turns. There's a creature that does the same thing. That has there's a Blood Artist creature in the set that might seem better because it just never goes anywhere. It just sticks around. That being said, this is only around for 2 turns. So if you're doing the mobilize thing, you have a ton of mobilize. Like, having this happen 2 turns and all the mobilize tokens. But the thing is, like, you have to have both attacks happen for that you get to get value out of both of those turns. Right, like, so whenever you play this, the next turn you attack and you get the mobilize thing, and then if they trade off with your mobilized creatures, then on the following turn when you get chapter 3, you don't have any creatures to attack with, to mobilize, to drain. So this card, like this, I think this looks good, but I'm like most interested in chapter 1, and then just for like a 3 mana Sign in Blood. And then obviously it's really nice to have I wouldn't play that by itself, but that's like the most appealing. And then having the Blood Artist effect around for a couple turns is nice. I think this is a C+. I'm not blown away by this card. Zergo Thunder's Decree. Thunder's Decree. Nice. He's got a sword all charged up with lightning. Red, white, black, legendary creature, orc, warrior, 2/4, mobilize 2, very nice. During your end step, warrior tokens you control have. These tokens can't be sacrificed. Okay, well, that's just insane. If you ever attack twice with this thing, you now have 4 tokens, and they still don't get sacrificed at the end of the end step. 4 toughness is obviously essential for this. Only having 2 power by itself, it's like, a little underwhelming, but it has mobilize 2, and those tokens don't go away. And that's for all tokens, not just the one that Zergo creates. So this looks very good in a Mardu deck. Looks like a solid B+. Yeah, B+. Like, this looks really good. Maybe even an A- in that type of deck. Like, that could be good. And it even happens the turn that you play it. Yeah, that's nice. You attack with the other mobilized creatures, and then you could even play this like second main phase. So they don't even know. They just assume these tokens. They don't bother blocking them. And then the tokens just stick around. Yeah. B+, maybe even A-. Looks great. Inevitable Defeat. 1 red, white, black. Instant. This spell can't be countered. Nice. Exile target non-land permanent. Its controller loses 3 life, and you gain 3 life. Okay. So a little Siege Rhino action. With a removal spell for 4 mana. Can't be countered. Sign me up. This looks great. B+, we'll be happy to play this. Exile anything for 4 mana, then that 3-point life drain is going to go a long way. That's really good. Mardu Siegebreaker. It is funny that's like a straight out call out to Siege Rhino, but then is a Mardu card instead of the Siege Rhino mana. Maybe that's too on the nose. Mardu Siegebreaker, 1 red, white, black. Human Warrior, 4/4. Death Touch Haste. Nice, okay. Like what I see so far. 4 mana, 4/4. Death Touch Haste. When ETB, exile up to 1 other target creature you control until this creature leaves the battlefield. Interesting. Why would you do that? When this creature attacks, for each opponent, create a tapped token that's a copy of the exiled card attacking that opponent. At the beginning of your end step, sacrifice those tokens. Interesting. Wow. So let's say you don't do that. 4 mana, Death Touch Haste. That's the floor of this card. And it's a 4/4. So that's great. Trades with anything. Hasty. Nice solid body. Deals a lot of damage. Has big toughness. So it trades with something big or 2 things that are big with the Death Touch. So that's great. And then the other effect is just really cool. The fact that you are protecting your other creature, right? Because they can't kill that other creature. They have to kill this first. But you still get the benefits of that other creature attacking. And then obviously if you have any ETB things, any ETBs with that, like you're just getting that every turn, which is just insane. One thing to note, this does not combo with Mobilize, right? Because the token, it creates a tapped token that's attacking. Yeah, there's a lot of words in there, but it is a tapped token attacking that opponent. So it will not get an attack trigger for Mobilize. But yeah, this card looks really good. This looks like a solid B+, really good card. Nariv, Heart of the Storm, 1 red, white, black. Legendary creature, Spirit Dragon, so the Mythic, 4/5, so 4 mana for a 4/5 flying. If a creature you control that entered this turn would deal damage, it deals twice that much instead. Interesting. Oh, right, Mobilize. I was like, okay, so it's good with just haste creatures. Yeah, it's also good with all the Mobilize. It makes you Mobilize effectively 2/1s. That's great. And again, so it has an effect the turn it enters the battlefield, which is great. That when you play, just like Zergo, right, where you could so all these all combo with your well, not the last one we saw that doesn't combine with your Mobilize, but Zergo and this and the Blood Artist enchantment, all of this combos with Mobilize, so very on the nose, very on theme, and you get benefit the turn that you play it because of those any Mobilized creatures you already have that are attacking will get this. So yeah, that looks great, and all that on a 4 mana 4/5 flying. Like, don't forget that you still get a 4 mana 4/5 flying above curve. So looks like a solid A. Looks great. All Out Assault, 2 red, white, black. Enchantment, creatures you control get +1/+1 and Death Touch. Okay, so a 5 mana Anthem that also gives Death Touch. When this enchantment enters, if it's your main phase, there's an additional combat phase after this phase, followed by an additional main phase. When you attack next, when you next attack this turn, untap each creature you control. Okay, so that's what you get for the extra couple mana. You get that extra attack step that turn. Well, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good curve topper. I mean, you imagine someone curving out just 1 drop, 2 drop, 3 drop, 4 drop this, and you're like, okay, well, great. And they're attacking you with all those creatures twice. That looks really good. Yeah. Obviously, you're going to be playing this in a deck that has 17 creatures or whatever, but that's what Mardu wants to be doing anyway. So I could see this being really good. This looks like a B+, potentially even higher than that. Moving on to Abzan. Barren Step Siege, 2 black-white, enchantment. As it enters, choose Abzan or Mardu. Abzan, at the beginning of your end step, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Awesome. Talk about a reward for going wide. The Endure mechanic, right? You have the opportunity to put +1/+1 counters or make a token. Jeez. Do that a couple of times. You get two for 1 bodies. Right? 2 bodies, and then you start pumping all of them up. That looks great. And it repeats each turn. Mardu, at the beginning of your end step, if a creature died under your control this turn, each opponent sacrifices a creature of their choice. What? Oh my gosh. And I do believe that this will... I'm pretty sure how this works with Mobilize, that you stack your triggers so that this one goes on the stack first, you sacrifice your tokens, I think this should combo with it, which if it does, that's absolutely bananas. Like, you just wrath their board for your Marbleized tokens. If not, that's still really good because it just makes anything you attack with is always trading off. Like, whether in combat or at the end step. And then, I mean, obviously the dream scenario is you attack with something, they trade off with it in combat, and then they have to sacrifice their other creature that's on the battlefield. So these two obviously do very different things, which is on theme with these sieges, that the two modes go into totally different decks. That's the whole point of these. Yeah, both halves of these look really good. This looks like an A-. I think this card looks great. Felothar, Dawn of the Abzan. White, black, green. Legendary creature, human warrior, 3/3. Trample. Whenever it enters or attacks, you may sacrifice a non-land permanent. When you do, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Okay. Well, I don't know how many things you're going to want to be sacrificing. I don't know how common this is going to be. So you're getting 3 mana for a 3/3 Trampler, which is fine. So that's the floor of this, I guess, right? And that's a C, because it's hard to cast. It's the 3 mana hard to cast 3/3 Trampler, C-. But then I guess it becomes a 4/4 because it gets a +1/+1 counter if you do the thing. So okay, so the question is, how many non-land permanents will you have floating around that you want to sacrifice? And it's tricky because if you sacrifice, let's say you have a 1/1 Endure token, you sacrifice that. That's one less body to be receiving this benefit of the +1/+1 counter. So, and I don't think there's not like food tokens floating around this set or anything. So I'm kind of off this card. Like, it's flexible. You don't have to do the thing. It's all you may. So like, that is all potential upside. So I just don't think you're going to be able to capitalize on the upside a lot. Like, sacrificing an online permanent is not a trivial thing. So yeah, I think this is like a C+, like, because you don't have to do any of it. It's all upside on a 3/3 trample body, but I don't know how often you're going to want to do the thing. Severance Priest, red, black, white, or excuse me, white, black, green, Jin Cleric, 3/3, Death Touch. When it enters, target opponent reveals their hand. You may choose a non-land card from it. If you do, exile that card. Then a separate trigger. When this creature leaves the battlefield, the exiled card's owner creates an XX white spirit creature token where X is the card's mana value. Okay, so this is like a weird combination of, I can't think of the names of the cards right now, but the spirit that can exile something, and then instead of, when they get it back, they don't get it back, they get an XX, right? So if you exile a 3 mana thing, they get a 3/3 back. And then the cards that, like, with the creatures that when they enter the battlefield, you get to Thoughtseize them. The problem is when you combine these two effects, you're giving them like this huge tempo advantage, because in the first case, you're exiling something they already spent mana on in the battlefield, like the spirit that does that. Can't believe I can't think of the name of that spirit. That 3-drop 2/2. So you exile something that's already on the battlefield. They already spent mana on it, and then if they ever kill your 2/2, like what do they get back in return? They get they get a creature, right? So you like make their planeswalker into a vanilla creature, or whatever. And then here, but the problem is, and instead of, in this case, they get this huge tempo swing where if you remove and this is a May ability, so you get to enter there, you get a view, you get a peek, no matter what. So 3 mana, 3/3 Death Touch Priest, or Death Touch Peek, which is fine. But like, you exile their bomb, and then they kill this thing, and they just have a 6/6. I don't know, man. You're gonna need another Death Toucher to deal with that 6/6 you gave them. So, really, I view this as a 3 mana, hard to cast Death Touch with Peek. A 3 mana, 3/3 with Death Touch and Peek, which is like a C+. And then on a rare occasion, you want to take something from their hand, but boy, is the cost of giving them an XX back. That's a pretty high cost. So, yeah. I think this is like a C plus. I'm not super impressed with that. Revival of the Ancestors, 1 white, black, green. Saga, chapters 1, create 3 1/1 spirit creature tokens. Okay, triplicate spirits, but they don't have flying. Chapter 2, distribute 3 +1/+1 counters among 1, 2, or 3 target creatures you control. Great, so you can make your spirits 2/2. Okay, now this gives you plenty of fodder to sacrifice to that creature, that other rare. So here you're getting 3 bodies, 3 1/1s, then you're getting another 3 +1/+1 counters, and then chapter 3, creatures you control gain trample and lifelink until end of turn. Very nice, very nice. Giving them lifelink is huge. So it's like an overrun effect, but it doesn't pump your creatures. But oh my gosh, my creatures aren't super strong. I'm not going to win the game this turn. You gain a whole bunch of life back to protect yourself from the backswing. So this looks good. Like, you're going to do a lot with this. Putting 3 bodies onto the battlefield, then distributing counters however you want them. Especially with all the counters matter stuff, and then a nice chapter 3 to give yourself trample and lifelink. You can have a nice just enable some nice attacks and gain yourself some life. This looks like a B minus, B, like B, yeah, B plus, yeah. This looks good, B plus. Yathon Road Watcher, 1 white, black, green, human scout, 3/3. Okay, 4 mana for a 3/3. You better do something strong. ETB, if you cast it, mill 4 cards. When you do, return target creature card with mana value 3 or less from the graveyard, your graveyard, to the battlefield. Okay. Okay, so notably, it is not from the milled cards. You just mill 4, and then you get something from the battlefield back, or something from the graveyard, and it's to the battlefield. So that's really nice. So that is absolutely worth a 4 mana for a 3/3 body. And if you ever, I mean, if you get a 2 drop back, great. If you get a 3 drop back, that's the dream. So, getting this into like a skirmish rhino or something, just clogging up the board with 2 bodies and ETB effects. This looks good. This looks like a solid B plus. You're happy to play this in your deck. Beator, Kin to All, 2 white, black, green, legendary creature, spirit dragon, mythic, 5/7. So 5 mana, 5/7 flying. At the beginning of your end step, if you control creatures that have total toughness 10 or greater, nice, draw a card. Okay, well, geez, this makes 7 of the 10, so you're basically going to get as long as this survives till the end step, you're going to get your card back. That's pretty sweet on a huge 5/7 body. Then, if creatures you control have total toughness 20 or greater, okay, that's significantly harder, untap each creature you control. This is silly. Then if creatures you control have total toughness 40 or greater, each opponent loses half their life rounded up. Okay, great. Well, if you have a battlefield that wide, like, come on. I'm sure that last one is for a commander deck of butts or whatever, big toughness decks. But even total toughness 20, because this spots you 7 toughness, like, that's not inconceivable. There's the 1/5. So let's say you have a 3/3. There's the 1/5 Dragon Reach artifact card. Like, that's 15 toughness already, which is 3 creatures. Then obviously there's plenty of big fatty green creatures as well. So then all your +1/+1 tokens. Interesting. So it's not totally inconceivable to get the 20. Which what even happens? It's not even that big of a deal. That's great. The best part is drawing a card, and that's the easiest one to enable. So a 5 mana 5/7 flying that draws you a card and then could continue drawing cards if it stays alive additionally. And as long as you play this in a spot where it's going to survive the first end step, phenomenal. This looks great. This is an A for sure. It's a must kill, and it's not easy to kill. Not everything kills this thing with that 7 toughness. So this looks phenomenal. Perennation, 3 white, black, green. Sorcery, return target permanent card from your graveyard to the battlefield with a hexproof and indestructible counter on it. Huh. Okay. It's a mythic 6-drop. I was expecting something a little more than like a reanimate effect. That being said, it's a very, very good reanimate effect. So how happy are you to convert a 4-drop with hexproof indestructible? Pretty happy, probably. Like, I mean, 6 mana for what would be a 4-drop with hexproof and indestructible. as long as your 4-drop isn't totally embarrassing, like that's probably pretty good. Then getting back a 5, 6, 7 man, like some huge bomb is obviously phenomenal. So that's really interesting. I mean, Hexproof and Indestructible is a brutal combo, absolutely brutal combo. So yeah, I think this looks pretty good. A minus probably, B plus A minus range. I'm guessing this looks good. This is gonna give you something really strong on the battlefield that cannot be dealt with. All right, moving on to Sultai Hollow Merc Siege, green black enchantment. It's only a 2-drop for this one. As it enters, choose one Sultai. Whenever a counter is put on a creature you control, draw a card. This ability triggers only once a turn. Okay, that's great. It's gonna be hard to beat that. Abzan, whenever you attack, put a +1/+1 counter on target attacking creature you control. It gains menace until end of turn. Oh, okay, well that's really good as well. This looks like a really strong siege. The putting counters on your stuff, so if you're doing that, then drawing a card for each time is phenomenal. And notably, like creatures that enter the battlefield with +1/+1 counters definitely trigger this. So potentially a really strong 2-draw engine. Even if you just trigger this twice, that's 2 mana draw 2. If you trigger a third time, come on, let's go. And then putting +1/+1 counters on all your attacking creatures, and then giving them menace a turn, like that's okay. Good luck. Like menace is already really strong, and you're also buffing your creatures. This card looks great. This looks like an A. This looks really good for either side. More excited about the Sultai side, but of course I love drawing cards. Who doesn't? Awaken the Honored Dead. Black, green, blue. Saga, Chapter 1. Destroy target non-land permanent. Sign me up. Love it. Love a little Vindicate action there. Non-land, but Chapter 2, mill 3 cards. Great. Love the self-mill. Chapter 3, you may discard a card. Okay, when you do, return target creature or land card from your graveyard to your hand. Okay, so I guess I shouldn't be asking for too much because this is a destroy target non-land permanent for 3 mana. So anything on top of that is just gravy. And then it's doing some self-mill and then giving you some really some flexibility to discard like a land to get a creature back from your graveyard to your hand. Yeah, I mean, that's really good. This looks like an A-. This looks great. Does the thing you want to do. B+, maybe B+ A- range. But yeah, if you're doing the full Sultai thing, it's going to range to that A- with all the synergy there. Fanekeeper's Familiar, 1 black, green, blue, snake, 3/3, flash. ETB, choose 1. Gain 3 life and surveil 3. Very nice. Destroy target enchantment, counter target creature spell. Hello. Awesome. Okay, so the play pattern is you hold this up, they cast a creature, you just get a 3/3, and then you counter their creature, which is phenomenal. Destroying an enchantment can be really good too, obviously. And then the worst case one is gain 3, surveil 3, which on that's not amazing, but that's like the fail safe here. And especially in the early turns when like people are just playing out to the battlefield and they're playing their things, like you could snag a Saga. Yeah, they get their chapter 1 off of it, but hey, you're preventing chapters 2 and 3. You can snag a Siege. The encounter creature spells, obviously the dream scenario. So the failsafe isn't the worst. Like gaining 3 life and surveil 3 is some great card selection, graveyard synergy. This looks like a solid B+. I'm really happy to play this with high ceiling. Like if you get the dream scenario countering a creature spell, all the better. Like that's an A-. So this card looks great. I'll say overall B+ on average. Kotis, the Fanekeeper, 1 black, green, blue, legendary creature, zombie warrior, 2/1, indestructible. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, exile the top X cards of your library, of their library, where X is the amount of damage dealt. You may cast any number of spells with mana value X or less from among them without paying their mana costs. Okay, so 4 mana for a 2/1 indestructible. Whatever, like that's fine. Notably, there is a card that gives -1/-1. There's 2 cards that give -1/-1 that are, I think one's a common and one's an uncommon. So I don't like that. This card stinks. You have to it's so vulnerable. I mean, not super vulnerable. Like there's only a few cards in the format that deal with it, but it's not like with only 1 toughness that indestructible does not protect it as you might think it would. And then you exile the top 2 cards and you can get a 2-drop or a 1-drop. Like, that's going to happen almost never. And you have to connect with this thing, which it only has 2 power. It's super easy to block. Yeah, whereas counter as well. Like, yeah, you give this thing +2/+2 and menace. Great, you're going to hit a 4-drop. Like, this card stinks. I think this card is... I think this card's a D, honestly. I don't want to play this card. Unless proven... Until I'll let this card... I'll be proven wrong about this one, but I'm not going to test it. Lotus Slight Dancers. 2 black, green, blue. Creature Zombie Bard. 3/6. 5 mana 3/6 lifelink. ETB, search your library for a black card, a green card, and a blue card. Put those cards into your graveyard. Okay, then shuffle. Interesting. So, yeah, you go grab... I mean, if you got 4 or 5 harmonized cards in your deck, gosh, just go grab them. And then obviously you can throw some renew stuff in your graveyard. This looks great for a 5-drop 3/6 lifelinker. Like, that 6 point of toughness. That's a big boy. Yeah, sign me up for this card. I like this. This looks like a B. Tavel, Arbiter of Virtue. Virtue? For Sultai? Sultai ain't about virtue. 2, black, green, blue. Legendary creature, Spirit Dragon. The Mythic. 6/6. Flying lifelink. Spells you cast have Delve. Okay, interesting. Delve, for those of you who don't know, this is a callback to the original concept Tarkir. Was in that. It was before that as well, but that's the last time we saw it. And it's each card you exile from your graveyard while casting those spells. Pay for 1 generic mana. So if you have something that costs 2 red or like 2 blue, you could exile 2 cards and cast it for blue. When you cast a spell, you lose life equal to its mana value. Okay. And that just happens whether you delve things or not. I can see why it has lifelink. So on the surface, this is just like a 5 mana 6/6 flying lifelink, which is great. But you're going to be dealing yourself some damage because this is just happening no matter what. So that being said, like, let's say you get an attack in with this thing and you gain your 6 life. Then you have Delve on your spells. And it's presumably by now you have at least some cards in your graveyard that you don't care about exiling stuff, which it does trigger the exile stuff. So cards that do care about cards leaving your graveyard is great. So then you can cast like 2 6-drops. And you'll lose 3 life for each of them. So you're net 0 on life. You gain 6 and you spent 6. But you got a bunch of extra mana because you were able to delve. Yeah, this card looks good. It's interesting. It's a cool little puzzle. You definitely have to be connected with this thing because you are going to be losing life on it. But the fact that you lose half your life, half the mana value, is cool. I think overall this card does look good. Well, it's kind of weird to evaluate. And you're like, I don't want to be losing life. Like, being able to give your spells delve and just cast things for the cheap, just cast your whole hand next turn, whatever you have, like, that's pretty good, especially if you've connected and gained your 6 health. So, yeah, this card looks good. I think this card looks like an A. This card looks great. Death Begets Life. Cool. Talk about Sultai. Sultai's theme in a card. Death Begets Life. 5, black, green, blue. Destroy all creatures and enchantments. Draw a card for each permanent destroyed this way. Ooh, mama. Oh, it is mythic. Okay, so that's good to know. We're not going to be playing this all the time, but yeah. Awesome. Obviously, so when you have a Wrath, the way you play into Wraths is like, you know about it, your opponent doesn't. So yes, you do have to play stuff for the battlefield. Yeah, you usually end up killing 1 or 2 of your own things. But you know about this. So like the turns leading up to you casting this, you're playing differently. And some opponents will catch on to that and maybe guess, but it's like, it's a mythic rare. Okay, they're going to have to still play into it. What are they going to do? Not play to the battlefield if they're behind or whatever? So, or if they can't get good attacks in. So you blow up the whole board and then you draw stuff for every permanent drawn this way. You draw a card, not just your opponent's stuff, not just your own stuff. That's what I would expect this to be. I would expect this to be like, it's a Wrath and a Back to Nature. And then, hey, if you happen to destroy some of your own stuff, you draw cards. No, you draw stuff for your opponent's stuff as well. So this is going to be like a draw 4, draw 10, draw freaking 15 on some of these board stalls. Yeah, I'm going to be playing this card. This looks like an A. All right, moving on to Temur. Glacierwood Siege. 1 green-blue enchantment. As it enters, choose Temur or Sultai. Temur, when you cast an instant or sorcery spell, target player mills 4 cards. Okay, so a mill engine in a potentially slow format that has a lot of card draw and 2-for-1s. Interesting. Soul Tide, you may play land cards from your graveyard. Okay. Not as exciting. Like, that's nice to make sure you never miss land drops if you have some self mill, but I mean, that's not nothing. That's good. But, you know, whatever. Is that worth a whole card and 3 mana? Like, let's say you get so Crucible of Worlds, let's say you get 2 lands off of it. Okay. 3 mana, you drew 2 lands. And then, yeah, in the late game, like, you keep getting your lands, whatever. But, so that doesn't, Crucible of Worlds doesn't excite me. The mill engine definitely looks like that could be a thing. Milling 4 a turn is a lot. If you have a lot of cantrips or removal, anything like that, all that turns into an alternative win route. I definitely could see this being a strong sideboard card. When you know you're in a slow matchup, you just bring this thing in so you can deck your opponent. Main board, you're going to have to build around it for sure. And then the Sultai side doesn't get me that excited. I'm looking at more of the teamer side. So sideboard in slow matchups, this could be like a definite win con, B+, A-. Then main board, if you build around it, same thing. So not a card you play just for random willy-nilly for no reason. Songcrafter Mage, green, blue, red, human bard, 3/2, flash, ETB, target instant or sorcery card in your graveyard gains Harmonize until end of turn. Its Harmonize cost is equal to its mana cost. Wow. Well, that's really good. So, obviously, it's a Snapcaster Mage impression. It costs 1 more mana, but it gets 1 more point of power and toughness. And then you get Harmonize instead of Flashback. But, it's the 3 bot. In some ways, it's like, I mean, you also have 3 power on this thing, so you're just reducing the cost of it by 3. So any card that looks great. This looks like a solid A. This is awesome. I love the Snapcaster Mage callback. This is great. Very good card. This looks like a solid A. Awesome. Teamer Battle Crier. Green, blue, red, Orc Ranger, 4/3. During your turn, spells you cast 1 less to cast for each creature you control with power 4 or greater. Okay, so 3 mana 4/3, that makes your stuff cheaper. You can get your stuff ahead of curve, and obviously it counts itself. So by itself, turn 4, you're getting yourself a 5-drop, and then turn 6, you can double spell with a big fatty or something like, if that 5-drop is a creature with power 4, then you have 2 of those. So by turn 5, you're getting 2 extra mana per spell. Oh, that's interesting. Oh yeah, right. So like this and one other ferocious creature, double spelling becomes like an automatic because you're getting 4 mana discounted over the course of those 2 spells. So yeah, this looks cool. This definitely looks like some potential to help you. And then obviously it's a 4/3, so you can tap it to reduce for Harmonize. And it's just spells that you cast. Yeah, nice. So it's not cast from your hand. So yeah, for Harmonize, like if you have something that has, if you have something that has 5 generic in its Harmonize cost, like the card that gives you 5/5 tokens, like you tap this thing instead of your 5/5, you can tap this to flash it back. That looks great. I'd be happy with that. Eshki Dragonclaw, I'm sure I pronounced that incorrectly. 1 green, blue, red, legendary creature, human warrior, 4/4, Vigilance, Trample, Ward 1. Okay, so 4 mana 4/4s. We've seen a lot of those in this set, but not all of them come with Vigilance, Trample, Ward 1. I'm already interested. And then at the beginning of combat on your turn, if you've cast both a creature and a non-creature spell this turn, interesting, draw a card and put 2+1/+1 counters on this? Jeez. Okay, so good on offense, good on defense, difficult to remove with Ward 1. And then anytime you double spell with one of those being a non-creature, and remember there are plenty of non-creature spells that create tokens, so those count too. You're getting 2 creatures onto the battlefield, and then you draw a card, and this becomes a 6/6. Whew, awesome. This looks like a solid I don't know how often you can trigger that. Like, that's definitely difficult to trigger. We talked about Flurry being difficult to trigger. Well, now you have like more conditions on these spells, but boy, is that a payoff if you ever do. And then it's also just a solid creature on its own. So with like some great keywords. Yeah, you trigger this thing. This looks awesome. If you trigger this once, that was phenomenal. If you ever trigger it twice, you better be winning that game. If not, what are you doing? So yeah, this looks like the floor is is great, and then if you ever trigger it, awesome. So A-, I'd say. Just because it looks difficult to trigger. If you can ever trigger it, it's obviously an A, but it does look a little difficult to trigger. Roar of Endless Song, cool. 2 green, blue, red saga. Chapters 1 and 2 create 5/5 elephant creature tokens, and then Chapter 3, double the power and toughness of each creature you control to end a turn. Okay, so win the game, because you're just going to be attacking with this card alone. You're attacking for 20 damage, but any other creatures you have are just giant and attacking. No, these don't have trample. Yes, I'm sure there's a way to give them trample, but like, come on, you don't need that for this to enable phenomenal attacks. And then even without that third chapter, it's still getting 2 5/5s over the course of 2 turns. So this looks like a solid A. Maybe A+. Nah, I think that's a little strong. I would try to reserve A+, but yeah, definitely an A. Dragonback Assault. 3 green, blue, red enchantment. ETB, it deals 3 damage to each creature and each planeswalker. Okay, that's a lot of mana for a 3 damage Wrath. Landfall, so whenever you play a land or enters the control under your control, create a 4/4 dragon creature token with flying. Cool. So this is a mythic, by the way. This is interesting. So the top half, like 6 mana to do the 3 damage Wrath. That's obviously that's terrible by itself. But like then you combine it with, hey, for the rest of the game, you're just top decking gas because every land you get is a dragon. So yeah. But the only thing that the only scenario where this is bad is when the front half doesn't do anything. It doesn't kill. It doesn't affect the battlefield. It doesn't kill some stuff on your opponent's side. And if that's the case, just hold this and don't do anything else on turn 6, and then play it on turn 7 and play your land, and just immediately that's. And then you get a 4/4. And then you'll get another 4/4 next time you draw a land. So no matter what you're just drawing pure gas. This is awesome. What a great way to end the game. I'd be excited to play this card, and that's like worst case scenario. But if you can nuke a couple of creatures on its way in, and then be getting dragons, and again, like I said in the case you hold this and do it on turn 7. You could do that even if you could. Let's say they do have a 3/3 on their side, then you have a 4/4 on your side, or whatever, and you could kill their creature. You could still hold this off and do it on turn 7 if you wanted to, and get your creature right away, get your dragon right away. So, yeah, this looks great. This looks like a cool card. It just makes the late game. You win the late game. So this looks like an A. Ureni, the Song Unending. 5 green, blue, red. Okay, so we've seen a couple of 8-drops now. Awesome. Legendary creature, spirit dragon, the mythic, 10/10, flying, pro-white, pro-black. Great. Okay. So what can remove this? I mean, blue things can remove it. And then bite spells for green on death touch creatures. Because who's going to have a 10/10 or 10 power creature that can deal damage to this thing? So very difficult to remove. And what else happens? When it enters, it deals X damage divided as you choose among any number of targets you control, of creatures, not targets you control, target creatures or planeswalkers your opponents control, where X is the number of lands you control. Okay, so even if you ramp into this with a couple of creatures, like you have at least 6 lands, at least, this is an A+. Like, goodness me. A 10/10 flyer that nukes your opponent's battlefield and then has pro-white, pro-black. So it's really, really difficult to move and just ends the game. Yeah, this is what you want out of an 8-drop. It better do a lot, and it does a lot. All right, one last multicolor card, then we'll go into the monocolors. Call the Spirit Dragons, Wooburg, Enchantment. Dragons you control have indestructible. Very nice. At the beginning of your upkeep, for each color, put a +1/+1 counter on a dragon you control of that color. If you put a +1/+1 counter on 5 dragons, this way you win the game. Okay, so by itself, it doesn't do anything. This is just like a Wooburg dream. I drafted all the colors and I drafted all the dragons, and now I get some stuff going on. So, and if you already have a bunch of dragons on the battlefield, this is just a win more card. This card looks like a stinker. Like, obviously it's fun, it'll win some screenshots, but like, your average deck shouldn't be playing this, and those that can play it are probably winning or losing anyway, despite this card. So, my guess is this card you typically. I'm sorry to crush all your dreams. Story Spotlight, Mythic, Wooburg, fun. Put this in your commander stuff. This looks like a D in most cases. Like, even in the decks it goes in, I don't think you need this, because you're just getting your dragons indestructible and giving some counters on it at the beginning of your upkeep too. So, yeah. Sorry to be the party pooper there. Moving into white, Anafenza, Unyielding Lineage, 2 white legendary creature. Spirit Soldier 2/2 Flash First Strike. Okay, great. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, it endures 2. Wow. Okay, so a 2/2 Flash First Striker is solid. That's good for 3 mana. Not like insane, but obviously it wears counters well, and you're in the Abzan thing, so you're gonna be putting +1/+1 counters in. 3/3 First Striker for 3 mana is very good, with all the 3/3 mana 3/3s we see. And then whenever a non-token creature you control dies, when another one, you get a 2/2, or you get or then you could put the counters right on itself. So now it's a 4/4 First Striker. Yeah, this looks great. This looks like a solid B+ card. It looks good. It's not too hard to trigger it the first time with Flash, right? You just are doing normal. Your 2/2 attacks into their 2/2. They go to block and trade, and before damage, you flash this in. Boom. So that looks great. Yeah, B+. Great card. Clarion Conqueror, 3 mana or 2 white dragon 3/3. Awesome. 3 mana 3/3 flying. Sign me up. Activated abilities of artifacts, creatures, and planeswalker can't be activated. Okay, so like a null rod thing. Great. 3 mana 3/3 flying. I'm already interested. And then you can null rod some stuff. So very good. Elspeth Storm Slayer, 5 white legendary planeswalker. Elspeth, 5 loyalty. Its static ability, if one or more tokens would be created under your control, twice that many are created instead. Wonderful. And what does its +1 do? It creates a 1/1 white soldier token. So it creates 2 1/1s. For 0 loyalty, you put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Those creatures gain flying until your next turn. Wonderful. And then -3, destroy target creature and opponent controls mana value 3 or greater. Okay, so a 5 mana planeswalker with 5 loyalty, and all 3 abilities immediately protect itself in different ways. So you can buff your whole team and give your creatures flying until your next turn, so they play defense on flying. You can what's the word I'm looking for? Clog up the ground by creating a couple of 1/1s, or you can just straight up destroy your creature through mana value 3 or greater. This just nukes anything. Phenomenal card. This looks great. This is a great callback to Elspeth Sun's Champion, Elspeth Conquers Death. Like, this is a pretty cool card with great callbacks to previous versions of Elspeth. So yeah, this is a solid A, really good card. Sage of the Skies, 2 white human monk, 2/3. When you cast this spell, if you've cast another spell this turn, copy this spell. Flying lifelink. Oh, okay, cool. So flurry payoff. So if you cast another spell first and then you pay this, you get 2/3 flying lifelinkers. Sweet. This looks great. Solid. Yeah, that's a solid. That's an A-, B+ A-. That looks good. Smile at Death, 3 white enchantment. Mythic. At the beginning of your upkeep, return up to 2 target creature cards with power 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Put +1/+1 counters on each of those creatures. Oh, I thought I was going to say like sacrifice them or something. No. So it does nothing the turn that's the beginning of your upkeep. So it does nothing the turn you play it. But boy, oh boy, you're bringing back all your small creatures for the rest of the game, and then making them bigger too. I like that you make them bigger. That's nice. So you get back your 2/2s and they become 3/3s and stuff. So, yeah, that looks good. Then again, you got to have a lot of creatures with power 2 or less that have already died. Maybe this card stinks. I don't know. It's hard to say like a 5-drop mythic enchantment stinks, but maybe it does. I don't know. I mean, I guess the whole thing is like, okay, your opponent thinks they're stabilizing. You've been trading off stuff the whole game, and then you slam this, and it's like, okay, well now they got to deal with everything they already dealt with again. So that could be pretty good. The thing is, it only gets back small stuff. So I don't think this card stinks. I don't know if it's like, oh my gosh, blow me away, amazing. So I could see this being like a playing out as a B, but in some games it's gonna play out like an A for sure. Like in some games, like that's why you lose. So the fact that it does have that as a ceiling, that's good. On average, I'm guessing it might not be a little underwhelming. But I think it's probably at least a B on like the big games where it doesn't play out. United Battlefront, 3 white, sorcery. Look at the top 7 cards of your library. Put up to 2 non-creature, non-land permanent cards with mana value 3 or less among them onto the battlefield. And then put the rest in the bottom of your library in a random order. Okay, non-creature, non-land. How many of those are you going to have in your deck? How many Oblivion Rings are you going to have in your deck? Or Banishing Lights, whatever. Nah, this looks like a swing and a miss. This looks like a D. I don't think you should be playing this card because what kind of hits are you going to have? You need a ton of them too. Like you need so many to hit 2 of these in the top 7. Like your whole deck has to be full of these. No, that's a trap card. Don't play that card. Voice of Victory, 1 white, Human Bard, 1/3, mobilize 2. Your opponents can't cast spells during your turn. Okay, well, geez, a 1/3 attacks at mobilize 2. Good luck. That looks like a really strong card. This looks like a solid B plus, A minus, really good card. Like you're on the draw and your opponent plays this on turn 2. You're like, and you don't have a way to kill it. Good luck. Prepare to take a ton of damage. And then notably, like mobilize 2, even in the late game where you get to the point where like you're suicide attacking this, you're chump attacking this, like they're still just getting 2 other 1/1s, and yeah, like finishes the game at that point. Yeah. Mobilize 2, just creating 3 bodies is so good. Ambling Stormshell, 3/2/2, Turtle Power, 5/9, Ward 2. Okay, already pretty interested in that, honestly. Whenever this creature attacks, put 3 stun counters on it and draw 3 cards. Oh, okay. Whenever you cast a turtle spell, untap this creature or remove a stun counter. Don't know how many turtles are in the set. I think 0, like other than this one. Maybe 1 or 2 other random ones that I don't remember, but I don't remember any of them. I'm sure in like your fun commander deck, this does some fun stuff with turtle power, but what does the card actually do in draft? 5 mana, 5/9 Ward 2. That's what it does. And then at any point in the game, you can cash this in for 3 cards. But you're not just like cashing this in for 3 cards. You're attacking with a 5/9. So they're taking 5 damage or they're jumping. Like they're not trading with this thing. And then you're drawing 3 cards. And that's at your leisure whenever you decide you're ready to do that. But before that, it's just this huge giant blocker with Ward 2. And then like you do that, and if by some reason you haven't won by the time that you untap this thing and you've removed all 3 stun counters, then you win that turn when you do it again. Awesome. This looks like a solid A minus. This looks really cool. Dragonologist, 2 blue, Human Wizard, 1/3. ETB, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal an instant, sorcery, or dragon from among them and put it into your hand. And then untap dragons you control have hexproof. Oh yeah, just even if it can grab dragons, like a 1/3 that lets you look at the top 6 and grab an instant or sorcery. Yeah, I want that card. And then it can grab a dragon, and then it benefits your dragons, protects your dragons, giving them hexproof. Yeah, this looks great. This looks like a solid B plus. Meringue River Regent, 4 blue dragon, 6/7, flying. Okay. ETB, bounce 2 things. Oh man, and it's 2 non-land permanents too. It's not just your opponent's control, so you can bounce your own sagas. You can bounce to your opponent's creatures and just win. You can bounce to, yeah, goodness me. Goodness me, that's insane. And it also, but it doesn't stop there, folks. It's an omen, Catch and Coil. 3 blue, instant, omen, draw 3 cards, then discard a card. Okay. The only problem with casting that front side is that the back side is so good. But drawing 3 and discarding a card is insane, and then you shuffle this in and then go digging for it and find it later and then win the game. So yeah, this looks like an A. Like, I'm super stoked to play both halves of these. Yeah, maybe A minus at least. Like A minus A. That looks great. Naga Flesh Crafter. We're just splitting hairs on. It's a great card you're gonna put in your deck. How good is it? Who cares? It's really good. Naga Flesh Crafter. 3 blue. Snake Shapeshifter. 0/0. It's a clone, so it enters the battlefield of any creature on the battlefield, notably not just yours. And then it has Renew. For 2 and a blue, exile the card, put a +1/+1 counter on target non-legendary creature you control. Each other creature you control becomes a copy of that creature until end of turn. Oh, interesting. Okay. That's a unique Renew. So worst case Renew, you're putting a +1/+1 counter on your creature. But then you target your best thing, and all your other things become a copy of that thing until end of turn. So that's pretty cool. I mean, it's like a clone with upside, and notably it clones not just your stuff, but your opponent's stuff as well. So that looks good. That looks like it could be a B minus. Still in Motion. Clones are just weird. Sometimes they're not that great, but the upside that it has on the Renew makes me excited to play that card. I don't think you're ever cutting it from your deck. Stillness in Motion. 1 blue enchantment. Very cool art. I like this art a lot. Hello Planeswalker's just frozen in time while Narset's meditating. Very cool. And the reflection there of the I like it. At the beginning of your upkeep, mill 3 cards. Then, if your library has no cards in it, exile this enchantment and put 5 cards from your graveyard on the top of your library in any order. Oh, okay. So, it's like a self-mill engine that then you hopefully don't mill out, and it prevents you from milling out, kind of, because you get 5 cards. Granted, they're your 5 best cards, so as long as your opponent doesn't mill you, you win, because you're just getting your 5 best cards for your last 5 draw steps, and you've been self-milling the whole game. Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for a self-mill engine, like, this is pretty good. And then the fact that you just put your 5 best cards in any order on the top of your library to win. Like, I think realistically you just win during those 5 turns, so you don't need to worry about decking yourself. So, yeah, as long as you can manage to fill your deck with a ton of good stuff and win, and it's just 5 cards, not 5 permanents, so you can get your removals and stuff like that. Yeah, this card looks I think this actually looks maybe better than you might initially think. So, I'll say this is a B. I think this is like a pretty good card that can do some really good things. Taiyam Master Opportunist. 1 blue legendary creature human monk. 2/2 flurry. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, copy it. Then exile the spell. Okay, wait. Then I got really excited. Then exile the spell with 4 time counters on it, and then it gains suspend. Okay, so for suspend just means at the beginning of your upkeep you remove a time counter on it, and then when there are no more time counters you can cast it. So it's 2 mana 2/2, and then whenever like, it's easy to deal with, but if you ever get to do this thing, you start copying your second spell each turn, just for like late game. Oh my gosh, over the top. And then, of course, the joke is, like, you're also then later casting spells for 0 mana when they come off suspend, so you're definitely flurrying that turn. Granted, it's also late in the game, so you have plenty of mana to double spell, but, like, still, let's say, okay, you eventually, whatever, let's just say the dream. You do this on turn 3. You cast a 1-drop and a 2-drop, and you copy your 2-drop. So then on turn 4, it goes down to 3 counters. Turn 5, turn 6, turn 7, you remove the last counter, you cast it. And then you can cast your 7-drop. And if this thing's still around, you get a copy of your 7-drop with 4 more time counters on it. So whatever, turn 11, you win the game at that point. I think this looks pretty good. It is just 2 mana 2/2, but with like really cool upside. Looks like a fun card. So I'm gonna say this is a B that you're gonna want to play with. And if you ever trigger it, like it's so good. That's just so good. It's just easy to deal with. It's fragile. 2 mana 2/2. Anything kills it, but. It's also like a lightning rod. They just have to kill their 2-drop, and if they're trading like really good removal for it, they're trading their premium removal for it. You're fine with that too. So yeah, I like that. Winter Night Stories, 2 blue. The only thing is it doesn't do well in combat. You just don't want to ever trade it in combat typically. But yeah, the card looks cool. Winter Night Stories, fun. I like this. 2 blue, sorcery. Draw 3 cards, then discard 2 cards unless you discard a creature card. Okay, so it's like your thirst for knowledge, thirst for meaning, but you have to discard a creature. No one wants to do that. But then it has Harmonize, and that is something we do want to do. So I'm in for this card. Just draw 3, then discard 2. Or I mean, you could also just draw like you could also just discard your 2-drops because you do need to put 2-drops in your deck. Like you can't just. I don't think you can just not put 2-drops in your deck. So in that case, you're just getting a 2-drop and keeping other stuff. Other than that, it's just really good card filter selection, and then you get to Harmonize and do it again. Yeah, I like this card. This looks like a B- card. This looks great. I don't know why I ended up doing those blue ones out of order for mana value. Sorry, but we'll go back to what we should be. So with black, Sidisi, Region of the Mire, 1 black legendary creature, zombie, snake, warlock, 1/3. Tap, sacrifice a creature you control with mana value X other than Sidisi. Return target creature card with mana value X +1 from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate as a sorcery. Okay, so it's a birthing pod, with your graveyard stuff. So it's 2 mana 1/3, and then you can just start trading your stuff up, getting stuff back from your graveyard, trading your small creatures for your bigger creatures, and you don't have to pay any mana for that ability, right? Or any life. Yeah, so you just 2 mana 1/3, and then. If you ever kill your big stuff, you can just trade in your small stuff for your bigger stuff at any point in time. Trade your 2-drop for your 3-drop, your 3-drop for your 4-drop, etc. Cool. Yeah, I like that card. That's going to really fuel the late game. Like when your smaller creatures start to become irrelevant, you just start trading them up in value, and then obviously your ETB stuff and all that, of course, is just gravy. So I think this card looks good. I think this looks like a B. I think this could do some stuff. Has some shenanigans that can be done. Sinkhole Surveyor, 1 black, bird scout, 1/3 flying. When it attacks, lose 1 life, and this creature endures 1. Oh, wow. Okay, so 2 mana 1/3 flyer. And then you attack and make it a 2/4 or get yourself a 1/1. Jeez, that's pretty good. Like it's going to attack pretty easily as a 1/3 flying. And it attacks as a 2/4 if you endure it, so. Yeah, that looks really good to me. That looks like a solid B+. I think that looks good. Rock Curse Rakshasha. 1/2 demon. 5/5 trample. Decayed. Okay, so that's when this creature can't block. When it attacks, sacrifice it at the end of combat. So, okay. you get your 2 mana 5/5 trample, but you only get 1 attack out of it. And then it has Renew, X black. Exile this card from your graveyard. Put a decayed counter on each of X target creatures activated as a sorcery. Okay. So, I see. What you want, this is a mythic, by the way. What you want is you want this card to be in your graveyard because you want to just give all your opponent's stuff renew, or your opponent's stuff decay. So if they ever attack you, when they can't, then the creatures can't block. Oh my gosh, what? Oh my gosh. I forgot that for a second that decayed creatures can't block. Okay, so at any point you just, essentially it's a one-sided wrath. And, you need this card to get into your graveyard, or you hope you self-mill it. You can just put it in your graveyard, and it attacked as a 5/5 trampler. So you either killed one of their creatures and did some damage, or you dealt 5 to them. So they're at 15. And then at any point in the game, you just make it so their whole board can't block, and you just attack. And they can't block you anything. This card is a freaking A. That looks so good. It's a weird card at first. Once you walk through the play patterns, this looks insane. Unless I'm missing something that looks unreal. Avenger of the Fallen, 2 black, human warrior, 2/4 death touch. Mobilize X, where X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard. Jeez. Okay, so it's a 2 mana 2/4 death, or 3 mana 2/4 death toucher. Good on defense, good on offense, and then once they start killing, once you have stuff that dies, you start mobilizing for them. That looks great. That looks really good. That's B plus. That looks great. Karsi Revenant. 1 black vampire 3/3 flying death touch lifelink. Oh nice. So Vampire Nighthawk, but bigger. A 3/3 instead of a 2/3 or 2/2. What was Vampire Nighthawk? 2/3. And then it also has renew. 2 black. Exile this card from your graveyard. Put a flying counter, a death touch counter, and a lifelink counter on target creature you control. Yes, yes, and yes. I love everything about this card. Very excited to play this. This looks like a solid B plus, A minus card. Like that just looks so good. The fact that you just get 2 of your, like it in of itself is a great Vampire Nighthawk, but a 3/3. Then if they ever deal with it, you just get to make something else. Like Vampire Nighthawks have to be dealt with. Flying lifelink is just insane. And then death touch, of course. So really good. The Sib Sig Ceremony. Black, legendary enchantment. Creatures, spells you cost cast 2 less to cast. Okay, so, alright. Whenever a creature you control enters, if you cast it, destroy that creature, then create a 2/2 black zombie druid creature token. Okay, this is some weird combo nonsense, bridge from below, black enchantment stuff. This is a card, this is an F, don't play this card. Scavenger Regent. 3 black dragon, 4/4 flying, ward, discard a card. Yep, love that. 4 mana, 4/4 flying with ward, discard a card. Absolutely playing that in every deck. And Exude Toxin is the Omen side. It's a sorcery, X black. Each non-dragon creature gets -X until end of turn. So it's a Wrath and a 4/4 flying ward, discard a card. Yeah, that card is amazing. Each of those cards is really good. And then you put them both together and the flexibility. This is an A minus. That card's phenomenal. Stadium Headliner. Red Goblin Warrior 1/1. Mobilize 1. Pay 1 red. Sacrifice this creature. It deals damage equal to the number of creatures you control to target creature. Oh yeah. A 1 mana 1/1 mobilize 1. Yeah, you throw this in your aggro decks, and then at any point it can just, you can attack and then sacrifice and deal 2 damage to target creature. And if you have any other creatures, you'll do more damage than that. You can kill something big. I like that. I like it's an aggressive creature, and then it can do stuff that's relevant in the late game. That looks good. Solid B plus territory, A minus territory in an aggro deck. Sarkhan Dragon Ascendant. 1 red human druid 2/2. ETB, you may behold a dragon. If you do, create a treasure token. Very nice. And what else does it do? Whenever a dragon you control enters, put a +1/+1 counter on Sarkhan. Until end of turn, Sarkhan becomes a dragon. Nice. In addition to his other types, and gains flying. Okay, so a 2 mana 2/2 that hopefully you have a bunch. If you have a bunch of dragons in your deck, 3, 4, 5 dragons, you can get a treasure token, and then at some point this becomes a 3/3 and flying until end of turn. And then if you ever trigger it twice, it's a 4/4 flying until end of turn. Phenomenal. So high ceiling in a dragon deck, which how many dragons can you get in your average deck? I don't know. I don't think it's that many. So on the floors, this is a 2 mana 2/2. So overall, I'm going to say this is probably a C plus. I think. Yeah. Corey Steelcutter. 1 blue equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has haste. Its equip cost is 1 in red. So did I say it was whatever? So 4 mana total to give +1/+1 trample haste. It also has flurry. Whenever you cast your second spell this turn, create a 1/1 white monk creature token with prowess. You may attach this equipment to it. Okay, so that's what you do. So forget the equip cost. That's down the road. Really is you cast this, you cast another spell, you now have a 2/2 trampling haste prowess. Cool. And then whenever that creature dies, you still have this as equipment to hang around. And then the flurry can do it again and again. It's not just the one time you cast it and it enters the battlefield. So, yeah, that looks pretty good. Giving yourself a bunch of tokens and that looks like a really good flurry payoff that on its own isn't terrible. The fact that you get to equip it for free to your tokens is good. So I think this looks like a B plus. This looks good. Tursa Light Shatter. 2 red. Legendary Orc Wizard, 3/3 haste. ETB discard up to 2 cards, then draw that many cards. Nice. So 3 mana, 3/3 haster that can give you some rummaging. And then whenever it attacks, if there are 7 or more cards in your graveyard, exile a card at random from your graveyard. You may play that card this turn. Well, cool. So a late game random card draw. Cool. I like the chaos element that it's a card at random. 7 cards, obviously a lot to get threshold if you're not self-milling, which it is red, the non-self-milling colors. But yeah, this card looks good. This card looks like a B plus. Like that looks really good. 3 mana, 3/3 haster that can rummage 1 or 2, and then some random upside in the late game too. And I mean random. Yeah, B plus looks good. Magmatic Hellkite, 2 red dragon, 4/5. All right, flying. ETB, destroy target non-basic land an opponent controls, and there's going to be plenty of those. You probably have a target for it. Its controller searches their library for a basic land card, puts it on the battlefield tapped with a stun counter on it. Oh my gosh. Yeah. A 4 mana, 4/5 flying. And then you mess up their mana. Not like insanely, but you do. I mean, hopefully they'll probably run a basic they can go get to fix whatever they need. But you affect their mana, but more importantly, you slow them down a whole land for an entire turn. Like you're on the draw, or you're on the play, you're on the draw. So you play your 3-drop, and then your opponent starts their 4th turn, and they slam this thing down, and then you just don't get on tap one of your lands next turn. Gosh, this looks like an A-. This looks really good. All that on a 4/5 flying for 4 mana. Yeah. Stormscale Scion. 4 red dragon. It's a mythic 4/4 flying. Other dragons you control get +1/+1. And it has Storm. It's a Dragonstorm. Amazing. So when you cast this spell, copy it for each spell you cast before it. Granted, it's a 6-drop, so you're going to have to trigger this. But if you can get Flurry, if you can cast 1 spell and then get this off, you get 2 5/5 flyers. That's pretty cool because they pump each other. Yeah, that looks pretty good. A 4/4 Dragon Lord for 6 mana is not great. You wouldn't be super excited to play that on average. But if you can ever get this thing to go off, you're getting 2 5/5 flyers for 6 mana. Yeah, that's good. High ceiling, medium floor. I think this card looks like probably a B. And you're really gonna want to try to find ways to play it or to trigger it. Draco Genesis, 6 red enchantment, another 6-drop enchantment mythic. You may cast dragon spells without paying their mana cost. Okay, no, this is a commander card, maybe standard for some reason, but don't play this. This is an F. Herd Heirloom, 1 green artifact, tap, add 1 mana of any color, spend this mana only to cast a creature spell. Okay, so a 2-mana monolith for your creatures, solid. Tap, until end of turn, target creature you control with power 4 or greater gains trample, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card? Oh my gosh. Where's the downside? A 2-mana rock that fixes your mana, and then you just start drawing stuff and giving your stuff trample? Like you're even just giving your creatures trample is good, and then you draw a card when it connects? Oh, but it can only target your big things. What do you want to give trample to? Your big things. This is awesome. This is an B+, A-. Like this, I'm excited to play this card. Jeez. If you ever get to draw a card off of it, that's just so good. If you draw 2 cards, game over. Saruk, Elusive Hunter, 2 green, legendary human warrior, 4/3, can't be countered, trample. Whenever a creature you control or a spell you control becomes the ability of a target spell or ability an opponent controls, draw a card. Oh, awesome. So it gives all your creature, like, basically ward, you get to draw a card. And then it also does that to your spells in case anyone's trying to counter your bombs. And by itself, it's a 3-mana 4/3 trampler. Yeah, this card looks really good. Just don't lose it in combat. But if they remove this card, which they have to do, they have to use the removal. You get a draw. You get your card back. So this looks like a B. I'm playing this in every green deck. Warden of the Grove, 2 green Hydra, 2/2. At the beginning of your end step, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. Nice. Okay. So it's a 3/3 the turn you play it, and it does grow every turn. And then when it has something else, whenever another non-token creature you control enters, it endures X, where X is the number of counters on this creature. Okay. Okay, so the way this plays out, you play this on turn 3, and then on turn 4, you cast your 4-drop, and it endures 1. Great. And then this becomes a 4/4 that turn. And then on turn 5, yeah, your next creature becomes it endures 2. And then this becomes a 6/6. Or a 5/5. Or whatever. You know what I mean. This looks really good. Yeah, you're going to play this in any green deck, and then it gets even more bonuses for +1/+1 counters and stuff. So there is a window where they can kill it. They can twin bolt it, but most things do 3 damage anyway. So whatever can kill this is probably going to kill it no matter what. Just keep that in mind that twin bolt does kill this the turn it enters. Twin bolt's an instant, right? I think so. Yeah, it is. But the shock that's in the format is sorcery speed, so that does not kill this card. So, yeah, this looks really good. This looks like a B. You're going to play this in all your green decks and be happy about it. Lacid Prowler, 2 green, Snake Ranger, 5/5. Sign me up for a 4-mana 5/5. ETB, you may mill cards equal to the number of lands you control. Nice. So you can mill 4. Then it has Renew, 1 green. Exile this card from your graveyard. Put X +1/+1 counters on target creature you control, where X is the number of lands in your graveyard. Oh, cool. I like that. So when it enters the battlefield, it cares about lands you control. When you renew, it cares about lands in your graveyard. So yeah, a 4-mana 5/5 self-mill, and then you can later pump something. Great card. B+. Bloomvine Regent, 3 green dragon, 4/5. Whenever this creature or another creature you control enters, you gain 3 life. Great. So 4/5 flyer, gain 3 life for 5 mana. It also has, and then if you ever get triggered again, you gain more mana later. But by itself, that's pretty good. Granted, you got to remember that we just had a 4-mana 4/5 flyer in red. Definitely makes you realize how good that card is, because this is a good card and that other card's just that much better. And it also has a sorcery, claim territory, 2 green, search your library for up to 2 basic forest cards, reveal them, put one of them onto the battlefield tapped and the other into your hand. So cultivate for basic forests. It is a bummer they're basic forests. So like this claim territory is actually like not that great because it doesn't fix your mana for you at all. I mean, it is a nice ramp, it is a ramp / draw an extra card, so it draws you an extra land, so not bad, but not amazing. And then the front half is like a 4/5 flyer for 5. This looks like a B. Like, this doesn't blow me away. Oh my gosh, really good card. Like, this is gonna win you the game, but it's a solid card. Craterhoof Behemoth, nice reprint. 5 green, beast, 5/5, haste, ETB, creatures you control gain trample and +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of creatures you control. So yes, this is yet again another 8-drop. Seeing how many 8-drops in the set definitely make me feel confident that this is a slow, and granted they're like all rares, but still, that makes me think this is a nice slower format, hopefully. And then, yeah, I mean, this you just slam this and you win the game, because, you know, the way it works out, if you have 3 creatures on the battlefield before you cast Craterhoof, everything gets +4/+4 in trample, including this. So this by itself is a 9/9 trample haster, you know, so you do the math, it gets out of control real quick. Yeah, 8 mana win the game. Nature's Rhythm, X green, sorcery. Search your mana for target creature with mana value X or less, then put it onto the battlefield and shuffle. Okay, so a really expensive, like, tutor. Not that great. Harmonize X green, green, green. Now I'm interested. So you definitely need a lot of mana to do this. You want to cast, you cast this for 6 mana, you go get yourself your 4-drop. So like that makes you realize, yeah, that's not that great. Paying 6 mana to go get your 4-drop. But then being able to harmonize and pay 4 mana to go get your 4, 5, 6 drop, whatever you're harmonizing with, something big. That looks pretty cool. I want to say that I want this card to be good. I don't know if it is good, but I want it to be good. It's really hard to say any harmonized card is not good. Like that's just saying like a card with flashback isn't good. Like it's really difficult to say that. So like I think this is at minimum like a C plus, but this very well could be like this. It's just so expensive. But you also get to go tutor up your bombs. So as long as you can get to the late game, yeah, in the late game you can go tutor up your bombs. At that point, who cares? You're paying 2 extra mana, and then you get to harmonize and do it again. You get your second best creature that's still left in your library. I like it. Okay, yeah. I want this to be good. I'm gonna say it's good until proven otherwise. I'm gonna say it's like a B plus until proven otherwise. Okay, finishing off with our colorless cards, and we are done with all the rares and mythics in the entire set. Thank you so much for tuning in this long. Dragonfire Blade, 1 generic artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +2/+2 and has hexproof from monocolored. Okay, so very good. Notably, there is some multicolor removal in this set naturally, but a lot of it's going to be a lot of removal, of course, is monocolored. So +2/+2 hexproof from monocolored. Equip 4. This ability costs 1 less to activate for each color of the creature it targets. Okay. So equipment needs to do a lot, and it needs to not cost a lot to equip. So for 2 mana, 1 to play it at your convenience, and then 1 to equip, you're giving all your gold cards +3 for you equip all your gold cards for either 2 or 1 mana, +3 +2/+2, and hexproof for monocolored. That's pretty good. And +2/+2 is solid, and then difficult to remove. So you're just beefing up all your gold bombs. I think that looks pretty good. I think I'm going to play this. Yeah, this looks like a B. Cool. All right. Mox Jasper. Okay. It's a Mox, 0 mana, legendary artifact. Tap, add 1 mana of any color, activate only if you control a dragon already. So if you open this card, great, you made a bunch of money. It's a mythic. It's expensive, but it is not for limited. Yes, it does trigger Flurry for 0 mana. That's more relevant than the other text. Ugin, Eye of Storms, 7-drop. 7 generic, 7 loyalty. When you cast this spell, as a cast trigger, exile up to 1 target permanent that's 1 or more colors. Okay, awesome. Whenever you cast a colorless spell, exile up to 1 target permanent that's 1 or more. Oh, so it just keeps doing it. Okay, I don't know how many times. Well, we know how many colorless spells are in the format. Like, there's just not that many, right? There's some commons and uncommons, artifacts, but who cares? We don't care about that. If you ever trigger it again, great. That's just such gravy. But 7 mana, 7-drop, you exile something, any permanent that's called 1 or more colors. +2, you gain 3 life and draw a card. Great. So then it's at 9 loyalty. 0, you add 3 colorless. Who cares about that? -11, search your library for any number of colorless non-land cards, exile them, then shuffle until end of turn. You may cast those cards without paying their mana cost. Okay, so 3 of the 5 lines of text on this have to do with like a Tron deck, That being said, for 7 mana, you get to exile something and immediately gain 3 life and draw a card. And if they don't deal with this, you're gaining a life and drawing a card, gaining 3 life and drawing a card for the rest of the game. I think that's very much worth it. It's very much worth your 7 mana. It's 2 for 1 right on the front, and then immediately at minimum, and then they can just, even if they counter this, you still get the first half of it, and then you can just keep going off from there if they can't answer it. So this is an A. All right, and then we have a cycle of lands and then one other land. So before we get to this, yeah, we'll do the cycle first, I guess, of rare lands. So these are like the opposite of buddy lands, where or instead of being, they're monocolored buddy lands. So they enter the battlefield tapped unless you control a swamp or mountain. And so each of these, the way that works is it follows the wedges. So the card that you need the enemy colors. So in this case, this produces white, and you need a swamp or mountain for it to enter the battlefield untapped. Two, and then it has an ability. So that's good. Like, you're going to play this in limited. You're going to play these. They don't fix your mana, but they enter the battlefield untapped quite a bit. And so then they're just spell lands that enter the battlefield untapped usually. So that's great. What does this one do? 2 white tap. Whenever you attack this turn, you mobilize 2. And you don't have to sacrifice this land to do that. So you tell me you're not going to play this. If this ended the battlefield tapped, you would play this. And then most of the time, it's not going to end the battlefield tapped. So whenever you run out of gas, you just tap 4 and mobilize 2. Great. Like, that's so good. Yeah, that's a good B+. You're just going to play that. That's such a good land. Mistrise Village. This is the blue one, so you need a mountain or forest. Blue, tap. The next spell you cast this turn can't be countered. Okay, that's more for constructed. That's not as good. Yeah, so many decks don't even have counter spells. There's only a couple counter spells in the format in limited. There's the 2 common blue spells. So, yeah, this actually looks like a C- or something, like sideboard. Sideboard C. You have to spend 2 extra mana to make something non-counterable, so it's a pretty high cost to pay. I don't know. That's actually a D, I think, and then it's a D main board and bringing in your sideboard, I guess, if you really need to and you're worried about counter magic from your opponent. The black one, Great Ashen City. So you need to play a plains or forest, and then add black. Then play 1 black, tap, exile a creature card from your graveyard, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token. That's good. That's good. It triggers the stuff that cares about things leaving your graveyard, and then gives you a 1/1 for your troubles. So yeah, that looks good. That looks like a B. You're gonna be happy to play that. Quarry Mountain Monastery, the red one that needs a plain or island. The Jeskai one. 3 red tap, so 5 of your lands need to be tapped. Exile the top card of your library until the end of your next turn. You may play that card. Okay, so you just start straight up drawing cards in the late game. What an out! Like, what a great thing to be doing with your land. That's a B, of course, B+. Kishla Village, the Sultai one. It's green that requires a swamp or island. Tap 3 green, tap Surveil 2. Okay, so the red one for 5 mana lets you draw a card. The green one for 5 mana lets you Surveil 2, which is good, but I'd rather draw a card. Yeah, there's some graveyard synergies, whatever. I'd just rather draw a card versus getting card selection for tapping 5 mana. But I'm also not going to complain. This is like a good spell land. You're going to play it. How high do you need to pick that card? Like, I don't know. You need mana. Like, I'd pick mana fixing over a lot of those usually. And then once you have your mana fixing, then you can start picking your land. So I don't know how high they're going to be in your pick order, but I pick them over like any C level card probably. Yeah, I pick them over C's. And then last card, Maelstrom of the Spirit Dragon. Land, tap, add colorless. Tap, add 1 mana of any color. Spend this mana only to cast a dragon spell or an omen spell. Okay. That's kind of a high cost in limited to put a colorless spell in your deck. It's nice that it also taps for mana, colored mana, not just for dragons, but also for omens. Well, that's pretty high cost, but that's difficult to put that in your deck. And then it also has one last line: pay 4, tap, sacrifice this land, search library for a dragon card, reveal it, and put it in your hand. Okay, so it tutors a dragon, which is great. Play this in your dragon decks. Don't play it in your non-dragon decks. How about that? I mean, yeah, I think it's cool that it can go tutor a dragon. That's obviously really good. The mana fixing for dragons and omens, like, guess what else mana fixes for dragons and omens? any dual land. So I don't think that's necessarily that good. I think overall this card actually is, you just pick any dual land over this, usually. Yeah, I think more often than not, you're like, yes, I see the ceiling, but how many games are you going to lose because you draw this and you can't cast your spells, as opposed to how many games you're going to win when you draw this and then later in the game you go 2 up your dragon. I just think I think you need to worry about your color mana more often than that. That does it. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and I am very excited to pre-release and draft this set. Have a wonderful day.